Hello? Is it working?
Is it worth it? Let me work it. I put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it. It's your flaminipaflania comment. It's a your flaminipaflania comment.
That was good. Yeah.
We can't see
you
the
guys were
comments
trying
again.
to see. We forgot until we just hit live that we couldn't see the comments last time.
Podcast. And I don't know why that is. And I don't remember because now it's been 2 weeks. How we fixed it. Do you remember?
Is it possible to? No, last time we didn't fix it. We had to pull it up on
Google.
We
pulled it up on a different screen. I mean, so that we could actually see them. But
right.
I should have notifications on for. Oh, here we go. I do have.
It's hot.
It's getting hot in here.
So if I go, if I go to YouTube, sorry guys, we can't see any comments. So if you're commenting, please bear with us. Wait.
Here it is. Okay, I see him.
I see him. Dana's here. Anna's here.
Tina's here.
Hi, Lori.
Hi, Lori. Okay, awesome.
Right.
At least we can see him on our phones.
Yeah. I'm just going to put this up right here so we can kind of keep an eye on it.
Good enough. It's
Robin.
good enough. I mean, you might need your glasses.
Hey, Leanna.
Put on your glasses. Put your glasses on.
My glasses are up.
Hey, guys. Welcome.
Happy Sunday.
Welcome.
We've missed y'all here on the YouTube podcast.
Yeah, guys. Last week was 4th of July, and so we took the day off, and we didn't do our Sunday, our normal Sunday fun day stuff.
We didn't. Hey,
so
Paula.
We missed you guys. Hey, Paula.
Hey, Denise. Love you guys.
That's too much.
Hey, Rochelle. Did you hear from St. Louis? It's freezing here.
Oh my goodness, I want freezing. Give me some of your freezing. I'll trade you some of your freezing for some of our sweltering.
Sweltering.
Schwambass. This is 111 degrees today, which I shouldn't complain about too much.
Yesterday was 117.
Yep, exactly.
And we felt it. Oh, Mama, do we feel
it today too, though, especially up here in this closet because we're back in the closet with
there's
the
not
two
a
crazy
single air vent
ladies
in here.
There's not. So
not even our babies will come in here right now because it's too hot.
Yeah, nobody wants to join us. Not while we glisten.
No, not at all. You guys, should we do a podcast?
I think so.
Do you remember the episode number?
Yes.
Do you? How do you remember that?
Well, because I just set it up. So I mean, I did check. I knew what it was, but I did check back just to make sure I was right, and I am. It's 79.
Just but I'm always right. So why do I even?
I am.
Why do I even doubt myself?
In my shoulder blade.
Yeah, there's a back rub in full effect going down. It's a huge knot. You can feel it.
Huge.
It's like this, poof, right next to her shoulder blade.
Don't you guys hate that? I hate that. Anyway, okay, so let's just go ahead and record a podcast because we have some stuff and things to talk about today. Spin
and things.
A minute. Welcome to episode number 0079 of Back in the Closet with the Two Crazy Cat Ladies. We have missed you guys. It's been 2 weeks since we've recorded a podcast. We needed to do this more often. I wish there were more than 24 hours in a day because we could record podcasts like 3 times a week or twice a week or something like that. But this is what time allocates for us right now.
But who would have time to listen to 3 podcasts?
I don't know.
Right?
I mean, I actually follow some podcasts that I wish I could listen to every single one of them.
Right. But you have to multitask even while you're doing that. So I get, if you had a big drive, I remember back in the day when it took 45 minutes to get to work, it was that's perfect. That would be perfect for a podcast.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So guys, today we were trying to think of a topic. We try to usually think of something, although we get off topic a lot.
Y'all know how we
there's been a lot going on over the past 2 weeks. Adrian, it's the first 2 weeks that she's actually worked full time as the other half of the Two Crazy Cat Ladies.
Can you believe it?
And we
6 years in the making.
Yeah.
It's a very exciting time.
Yeah, it's very exciting. There's been, the transition from her old job to her new job has been a little rough. It hasn't been as easy as we thought it might be. But, that's, you handle things as they come. And we're very grateful regardless. Always got to
find the joy, y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've recently encountered a few things. And so a few things that have kind of come up. And so, a topic that we have been discussing on and off over the past week actually is the reaction versus responding, reacting versus responding.
Right.
And there's many different realms that is a topic, if you will. And so we wanted to talk about it a little bit, kind of give you guys our thoughts on it, and maybe hold on real quick.
What is happening?
I'm just realizing that piece of tape that is on the wall has been there for 8 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's where they were supposed to put down in our closet the
baseboard,
the baseboard.
Right.
But they didn't.
As observant as you are, I cannot believe it took you 8 years to see that.
You know what? I have seen it. I just haven't registered it.
79 podcasts in here, and you've never noticed that.
We've done 79 podcasts.
Are you feeling okay?
That's kind of crazy. Yeah, feeling fine.
All right.
I'm on my game, except for this knot in my shoulder.
Back pain is so distracting, you guys. So here's the thing. I feel like there's this school of thought that is pretty black and white about responding to things versus reacting to things, right? Like reactions can oftentimes leave a situation worse than it was.
Like think about road rage, for instance.
Right. Like that's a big one. There are so many people on the road that are, I feel like in society, at least here in the States, I feel like our society is kind of like just a reactive, everybody's a reactive driver. They get very upset. They get very mad if they're cut off on the streets. They get very mad if somebody... These are people that would never say a cross word to somebody, but you put them behind the wheel of a huge vehicle, and all of a sudden they turn into like Satan's spawn, and they feel...
Now, I wouldn't say they if I were you, because you are one of...
I am not the best. I haven't contributed to a road rage incident.
No, but you still have
I do say things within the confines of my own car that I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Would not say that.
You're still reacting,
in
right?
real life.
Instead of like...
do you know where the gas pedal is? What?
Right. Or like you curse at somebody because they cut you off or they speed past you and you're like, wow, blah, blah, blah. Like instead of maybe, thinking, instead of responding, if we were going to respond to that situation, because it's, a thought process that, that somebody just cut you off, that somebody just sped past you, whatever it is. And you, instead of reacting, say you respond by thinking, oh my gosh, they are in a very big hurry.
She's so good at this.
I wonder if they're late for work. I wonder if their wife is in the hospital. Their kid
I wonder if they're driving their pregnant wife into the hospital. She's giving birth right now. Like she thinks of these things.
Well, because it keeps me from reacting, and that is not it just doesn't breed anything positive. Breed is not the right word. It doesn't give any positive.
Right.
Anything positive. Nothing positive comes out of reacting to your thought process of somebody cutting you off on the street, right? Your cats, going to your cats. If, like, for instance, your cat does something that you don't want them to do, or they are doing, they're, I don't know, spraying on, like, say you catch them in the moment of like spraying on or peeing on your carpet, right? Like the reaction is stop. Like scream, yell, pick them up, put them in the litter box, whatever it is, that's the reaction. Whereas the response would be that reaction is
trying to understand why they're doing that.
Right.
And realizing that it's something they're trying to comfort themselves for some reason.
And reacting in that way doesn't change their behavior.
Right.
So,
help.
Yeah, there's, or you recently had some incidents with your past job that she wanted to react or thought about reacting to negative behavior towards her, and haven't even responded yet. Sometimes no response is the best response, right? But
it's like old Alison Krauss says, you say it best
when you say nothing at all.
I love that song.
Maybe?
It actually
I don't know.
wasn't her song, but she was I think she did it best.
It wasn't her song, really?
Well,
you learn something new every day. I do think that it's one thing to look at certain situations, whether it is dealing with a cat's behavior or like very specific, or what mindset you put yourself in when you are on the road. But to me, the harder decision to make is when it is something out of the blue that causes a physical or a visceral reaction, that there's just no way to not physically experience that reaction. Is there any, and question for you, is there any circumstance in your mind that you think that kind of situation justifies a verbal reaction, never a physical reaction? Tina, I know you're here right now.
Yeah, she said, or throwing things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that anytime things get physical, people probably need to go to jail. Just saying.
Or death by Visine. I'm not joking. I'm making fun of me.
But like thinking through it, is it something where you think about, is this a situation where the truth of how you are experiencing the situation would actually be more valuable than some diffused, benign response?
Here's the thing. I envy those that, and many people have. It's a practice you have to learn. Like, I think I've mastered it. I've mastered it in the car, but in other areas,
like
any other area,
a muscle.
Right. It's like exercising, because I envy those that in those specific situations, meaning in a specific situation we're talking negative, right? We're talking somebody, I'm not talking, you need to react. If like you're choking, I'm going to react. I'm not going to sit back and be like, how shall I respond to this? Like if there's a serious situation, of course you need to react. But when it comes to, somebody saying something negative to you, somebody handing you something in a negative manner, or that you perceive as negative, right, and responding back in that negative way, or reacting in that negative way, or responding in that negative way, whatever. There are those that have perfected their response to where they can immediately come back with kindness and love, or logical thought processes, and you can have that conversation where they're like, well, blah blah blah, and you're like, wow, that's a great response to this negativity that was just thrown at you, because they can do it right on the spot. Other people like me,
that's a true master.
Yeah, I mean, I can do that in my car now because I exercised that for so many years. But if I'm in a heightened level of anxiety, stress, or feeling
personal,
and it's something personal, and somebody says something negative, I have to step away in order to respond.
Right.
I can't react with a response, if that makes sense.
Yes, that does make total sense.
Yeah.
I'm curious because I feel like there's different schools of thought out there. Like, I remember having a conversation with someone, I didn't even talk to you about this yet, but having a conversation where it's like, is it dishonest to not react to certain things? Because like in that moment, it is, whether you call it my truth, your truth, whatever it is, like, this is the truth right now. Is it dishonest to be like, all right, I'm going to pack that up for a little while, let it marinate, figure out, try to look at things from different perspectives, and then respond.
I wouldn't say that that's dishonest at all. I would say that's the most honest that you can get, because you're actually stepping back, looking at it from different perspectives, seeing what's going on, and responding in such a way. But
I like that.
Yeah, I think that's...
I mean, not that I disagree with you at all.
Yeah.
I just think it's a fascinating topic.
Yeah.
And I think that y'all, like right now, I feel like Jay was saying earlier, I feel like there's so many people in the world. I don't know if it's COVID. I don't know what it is, but so many people are reactive. And they're reactive. I don't know if it's the quarantine that people have been able to spend so much time in their own heads and being a little selfish is not the right word, but more, everything is about what's going on in my world. And because they're not being exposed to having to be considerate of other people, that it seems like there are lots of reactive situations happening. As much as we try to avoid the negativity in our
world
sphere of influence, right? Like there are things that we just become aware of that's like, what in the world is going on?
Yeah.
I mean, very few things. I know we're talking about a couple things that are personal, but very few things that we see that actually impact us, but it's alarming to see.
Well, I think, that's negative news, if you will, that is not part of our sphere of influence, that is going on and that is plastered all over social media and all over the news media, and like the negative news that we see. I think that feeds more of that negativity in our sphere of influence. If we
Right.
attach to it, if we pay attention to it,
You
if we
see more of it
even
naturally.
ask the question, what is wrong with the world? Like everybody's asking, like so many people are asking that question that are tuned into the news or social media, or the negativity that's going on. And it's hard because when you are following that, then it's hard to see all the positivity that's actually going on in the world.
Right.
And if you can get either a healthy balance, because you don't want to blind yourself to what's actually happening, but a lot of it is not. It doesn't affect, or it shouldn't affect our sphere of influence, our positivity, our perspective on the world, because there are also so many amazing things happening in the
Who is it?
in the
Eckhart,
world.
I think Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle is a great author. I'm so curious about some of these comments that are coming in. Eckhart Tolle is a great author, and I remember thinking how helpful his just a paragraph. I'm going to paraphrase, but how helpful it was that he really kind of put into perspective that whole. Right, you can get very overwhelmed with negative news or just watching the news these days and see all these terrible things that are happening and what's happening to here and what's happening to these people and what's happening over there and all of that. And then you literally absorb and create that energy yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so you start seeing that in your own life. And he said, when you recognize that you get that heavy feeling, that it's all of a sudden, with you, I think when you start getting in your head with anxiety, it will turn into a panic attack real quick.
Mm-hmm.
That you have to take a moment and really be present in the moment.
Yeah.
And think about, I'm breathing, I have food, I have shelter. Like
everything's going to be okay. The end of the world. It's not the end of the world as we know it.
Everyone's
regardless, I had to do that yesterday.
We
were running late to a family celebration. We were running late to this celebration, and I was high anxiety. I think it actually is what messed up my stomach more so than my stomach being messed up and me being worried about,
right.
like
it made you ill.
It made me physically ill.
Stress makes us sick.
And
it's just
the
true.
whole ride there, I was like, it's not the end of the world. Everything's going to be okay. Nobody's going to it's going to be fine. Everything is going to be fine. I don't need to freak out, stress out, stop. But then at the family event, there was another react or respond kind of situation. Actually, twofold react or respond. One of my family members we were telling them about our two of our cats, our two of our boys, our youngest boys, broke some of our stemware this week.
Oh my God.
It was like literally.
We have had this stemware on the same shelves for the past 8 years. Lindsay had the pleasure of being here for the explosive event.
I blamed her. It's because you're here. This has never happened. But
our boys are trying to show off for you.
Yeah. So 2 separate occasions, 2 separate days, but they broke our stemware. And it's not expensive stemware. We don't buy expensive stuff because we have cats, and
But it remains that when there is,
and we're also not bougie.
When glass explodes all over the floor, our first thought is really, oh my God, the babies.
Get the cats away. Right. Let's clean it up. Let's
and thank God Lindsay was there because she was like, laser toy, come on, kids, off we go.
Yeah. But that is so I was telling my family members about that, and they said. They were trying to school us on how to train our cats with a newspaper, a rolled up newspaper,
let
magazine.
them know that they were wrong.
You got to let them know One said hit them, one said just scare them and hit the like, but you gotta train them so that they don't do that
You didn't
again.
train them, right?
Right. So that is their reactive response, right? That is how they would react in that situation. They don't have a cat currently, but if they were in that situation, as they're telling me, this is how they would react. They would react with this immediate scolding, right? That is not our way. Most of you guys know us very well to know that we better understand our cats, and we know that cats do not react to punishment the way humans do, and that it is not the same. It's not the same thing. So that would be their reaction. We instead respond with, let's move them away. Let's clean it up. Let's do what we need to do to maybe get some more wine so that they're not as shaky. Like we had to
better anchor at the bottom of the shelves.
Right. So they don't shake when they jump on. Just buy more wine. That's right. When I put the wine up yesterday, I was like, oh, this is why all this is
they
happening.
Won't wobble.
but also I could have.
We had the choice to react.
We had the choice to react to that and say, I'm sorry, you're stupid. You don't know anything about cats. Do you know who you're talking to? Like, we could have
that
reacted.
Sounded so arrogant.
No, I mean, but seriously, our business is cats for the past 6 years.
Well,
you don't have a cat.
And
you're telling me how to train my cat? Like, we could have.
And I would have a very hard time not reacting to somebody who was hitting
if I saw that
happen.
Right.
That would be very difficult.
Yes. Luckily, that wasn't the case. And luckily, we chose not to react at all or respond and just say, so how about this weather?
It's so hot.
My God. This is, like, I mean, there's many situations, but that would have just facilitated a negative conversation.
It would have elevated negativity in a way that was absolutely unnecessary.
Yeah.
At that time, which I think is one of the hardest lessons for us humans, us emotional beings, to learn, is the value of responding. And sometimes, like we were discussing just recently with a very personal situation that we went through years ago, specifically more so you, that sometimes it is better to no longer even engage, to not respond.
That can be really hard. My situation, literally a situation that happened 6 years and 2 days ago, took 3 years for me, and no response, and many, many lies about me, right? Lies about both of us.
It's especially hard.
But from people that I truly loved with every ounce of my being, that turned their backs on us and made up some crazy stuff. And it's and then chose to believe their own lies and spread those lies. And it was like, what do I do in this situation? What is going to happen if I yell from the whatever? Do I fight the fight and say, you're lying? You're going to believe your lies regardless of where,
or in a way retaliate. I remember thinking during that time, I know that we both went through this, but it was a more intimate experience for you.
Right.
And it is a lot more difficult, I think, to withhold reaction when you see someone you love being put in that kind of situation.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of a reaction on you.
Especially when there was so much truth that we could have shared that would have blown the lies into oblivion. It's like, do you?
Well, could have. Yeah, it really depends.
Do you engage at all at this point, or do you believe?
Do you step back and let them say their lies about you? Let them choose to
the truth
in
will come
your
out
head. They
someday.
have to make you the bully because they've done something that's hurtful. So by making you the bully, that makes them feel better about themselves.
Or the bad guy,
I'm just
going to
sit the bad guy. So I'm just going to sit back and do nothing. And it literally was 2 days ago that I finally got. I was finally able to really let that go. It took 3 years of crying, of being angry, of blaming in my head, so many things took 3 years, and then it became a little lighter, but just don't bring up their names.
It's mainly benign unless you poke the bear.
Yeah, just don't poke the bear, and I'm fine. And until literally Friday, 2 days ago,
Let it go.
I finally, and it took 6 years, but without reacting. It took 6 years of not reacting, and reacting would have done nothing for me.
Well, and not responding.
It would have made it worse.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there's like, I think that we both
And
agree that it's so much better to choose to respond to situations that are hurtful or painful or whatever it is. But that other option of not engaging, no longer engaging at all, giving no energy to the
Negativity.
situation
Right.
at all, not trying to come back with any sort of response, not a reaction, but even a thoughtful response, and just letting it go and letting the chips fall where they may. I don't know. It's an interesting option. And I don't know which one is the most difficult, but
Yeah.
or which one is
The most fruitful.
right. Which
Right.
one is better for, I mean, I use the word better loosely, but like what's going to have the better ripple effect, you
Yeah.
know?
In the long run.
Right.
I mean, I think those are all things that, and each situation is going to be different. I think there are some situations that ignoring it would not help,
Right.
but reacting would make it worse. So we need to
Right.
respond, but we need to mindfully and lovingly respond by stepping back and looking at their different perspectives and what's going on to the best of our ability. And then there are other situations where it's just best to not say anything. That so it really depends on. I think it depends on the situation.
Out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Let's see if we've got. I know I can't see very well.
Yeah. Tina's talking about
Hey, Tina.
was it Denise is talking about the guy that just got killed in a road rage incident?
Oh my
Which
God.
yeah, we just heard about as
we
well.
heard something right here in Vegas. A 72-year-old man was killed in a road rage. It's just like, oh my God, if you think back just like 5 minutes before, 2 seconds before,
Was it
like
worth it?
why was that even?
Was it worth it for either party? Obviously, I don't know this specific situation, or how many. I know it happens a lot. So in any of these situations, is it worth it to risk your life? Is it worth it to lose your life? And is it worth it to spend the rest of your life in jail? Like, really, over a car? Like, over the fact that you just cut me off on the road? Over the fact, like, how?
Oh wow, what is
Like, that's too bad.
Tina said that to me. Sometimes I react before anything else, and depending, it can get worse. I have to keep saying haters are gonna hate, and those who do that are miserable and want others just like them. I think back to what Kimberly said to us once, and I think she got it from somewhere else, but she said, only hurt people hurt people.
Yep.
So when you think about something that intentionally someone says something or does something to intentionally hurt you,
Mm-hmm.
It is really a powerful human experience.
Yeah, Gary
to
Vaynerchuk.
take a moment and be compassionate about that and recognize that comes from a place of hurt in them, right? Even though it is very personal at the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also, we have to think about the fact that the truth is that we cannot make somebody else feel anything.
Right.
Somebody else cannot make us feel anything. And that's really hard sometimes it's just really hard sometimes. Well, it's hard to understand, and it's also hard to even tell yourself, right? Like, you didn't make me feel that way. I allowed myself to feel this way in response to what you just did or just said, right? But they can't actually make us feel. We have to take responsibility for for our perspective on whatever situation it is, our perspective on the situation, our perspective on.
We have to do that.
Right.
Quite often.
Yeah.
which is wonderful to have someone that you can learn with.
Yeah.
But it makes a big difference when there is that acknowledgement of, this is what happened, and you are reacting in a way that was not my intention. You know what I mean? But you get to work through it, and you get to talk through it. And then there's other things that are more peripheral that are kind of like a, wow, that was a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Do you, what do you do?
Right. Yeah.
It's a Eckhart Tolle calls it the Earth School.
Yes.
just that every day you have that opportunity to be more present and to try to make the decisions that we all know. I know for myself, it's like, oh, I could have responded in this way, or I should have said this instead.
Yeah.
And being able to make decisions that leave less room for regret.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to like online bullying, for instance, right?
Yeah.
Like Gary Vee just sent out a text today about the hurt people hurting people. And you think about like how interesting is that? Like really, when you sit back and think about it online, somebody that is consuming your content and typing something that is negative, like how much effort and energy it takes to consume somebody's content that you don't like and then actually comment with negativity. Like you've got to be in a real bad space.
Yeah.
Like to have to do, like to feel the need to do that, you have to be
to spend that much time doing something that you don't enjoy, and then explain to the people that you don't enjoy why you don't enjoy them.
You know,
there's got to be a better use of your time.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, negative comments. How often, there's a question for you. How often do negative comments change the perspective of the poster, say, the person posting? Right. Like I see this, like we always saw this in politics. I don't get political posts anymore, which I'm so glad. I mean, I'm also not on social media, personal social media anymore. Much, like very rarely, but like during, election season, there's always like so much negativity and
keyboard warriors out there.
Everybody has to say that, like they have to comment on the opposite. The people that are posting opposite of what you believe, they have to comment on that.
Right.
And it's like, why? Like, why? Like, why don't you comment on the post of the people of the political side that you do believe in instead with positivity? Like, why don't we put more positive energy?
Right.
Because really what all it does is it gives
it solidifies the
algorithms
divide.
The way that the algorithms work, the more you comment on a post, the more energy it gets in the ether, right? Like the more energy you're giving that negativity by posting literally with the algorithms. So instead, if we post on the positive ones, on the good posts that we see, that we like, that we agree with, whatever, that is going to give more positivity than feeding the negative energy.
I love, Marilyn is here on YouTube today, and she said, if this was private, I would say more, but it's on YouTube. So there you have it.
Can Marilyn, I also say it's so interesting that YouTube seems to be, I love YouTube. I love this. I love that we can go live here now. I love that we have like the opportunity. I love, we use YouTube every week all the time. So we love YouTube. But the comments that we get,
not on our lives, I just want to say, I don't think we've ever had what is it called, a troll on our lives.
No, and I don't even mean the trolls. I mean like I just saw this morning on one of your cat tips about you. We posted a cat tip on Friday about cleaning up the urine smell, and somebody commented and said, or just don't ever let an animal in your house. Problem solved. And it's like,
I think you're missing the point here.
Yeah. Why did you even take the energy, the time and energy to
watch the cat tip and then be like, you're an idiot. You just shouldn't get a cat anyways. Don't let animals in your house. Problem solved. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
I think you're missing the point.
Yeah. Why? Anyway, so I think we just kind of needed to
talk it out.
Get it out. Do you feel better?
Oh, I feel great. I mean, I think that this is a great conversation. I think that for the most part, we are very blessed in our sphere of influence to not really have a lot of negativity. And I think part of that is just our boundaries in general. And part of that is the decisions that a lot of it is our angels, and it's the decisions that we make. And I think that it's interesting when, and we've been through this a couple times, this is just what's facilitating it this time, when there is something or someone that you've let inside your boundary that really comes out of the blue. It's like, oh, it's a good reminder to really think about how to respond to these situations. You know, it's not about trying to protect yourself from ever having to make a tough decision. It is the opportunity to learn and grow, you know? So that's why we picked the topic.
Yeah.
I feel great.
So that's going to wrap up this episode of Two Crazy Cat Ladies Back in the Closet, or Back in the Closet with the Two Crazy Cat Ladies. We love you guys.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah,
y'all.
thanks. If you guys haven't subscribed to our podcast, please do. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel for sure, but we really would love to get more subscribers to our Apple, Spotify, Google Podcast. If you guys are a part of that, if that's how you listen to the podcast, please do subscribe. Please leave us a review. Let us know if you have a subject that you want us to talk about.
Let us
Comment. Let us know. We have, sometimes we have a hard time coming up with topics that we're like, what do they want to hear? We don't know,
What should
because
we
there's so
talk
many different
about?
platforms, and we kind of know what some people want to hear, and we don't know what everybody. And so let us know.
Help us.
Yeah.
Help us.
Help us
out
help
a little
you.
bit.
Help us help you.
And a big shout out to everyone on YouTube leaving comments and stuff. You guys, it feels amazing to be in the company of beautiful people.
Yes. So we love you
thank
so
you guys for
much.
hanging
Thank you
out.
guys for joining, and we will see you next week.
Mwah. Love y'all.